Am I live? Is it working? I don't think it's working. I am live. There I am. Okay, and back on Instagram. Let's see. Let's make sure that this is actually working for us. I'm just going to check a few things. Let me know if you are jumping on before we get started. Oh, here we are. I am live. All right, I'm just going to cancel that one. Delete that. And let me know if you can hear me okay. Should be. Perfect. All right, and let me share. Share to one moment. All right, here we are. Okay, all right. So let me know if you're jumping on either on Instagram and or Facebook I have over here. And what I would like to do, being the first of the month, is at 8:30, I will be sharing my screen over on my YouTube. It's just a little easier with how I have things set up. But what I want to go through are 7 things that work for me. I work from home. I always work from home other than when I work live events. And right now, live events are really at a standstill. So I always like to go through my list and then we can elaborate a little bit more. And if any of these work for you, would love to hear what else is working as people are working from home. But these are just some things top of mind that work for me. So let me know if you are jumping on, say hello, let me know where you're coming from, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. So number 1 for me that works is music. I start my day with music. Once my alarm goes off, I always have my playlist going, and I need that music to get me going. Music for me is motivation. Sometimes I listen to a podcast as I'm waking up, but starting my day with music really helps not only just get me started, but in the mindset. Then throughout the day, I typically have music through my speakers, but as I'm working, I actually prefer headphones. And I use these headphones. My friends actually know me to walk around sometimes in public. I forget that I have these on. And so music to me is what helps start the day. And being able to switch between speakers but headphones really kind of depends on what I'm doing. So speakers are great for just around the house as I'm cleaning, but when I really need to focus, so while I'm working, I have certain playlists. Hey, Steve, nice to hear from you. Are you still working? I'm not really sure. I know things are kind of crazy up there in Pennsylvania. Artie's still working. So I'm curious about you guys up there. So yeah, music definitely helps me, number 1, get my day started. You are still working. Well, I guess you're essential. You are essential. Number 2, the first thing that I like to do as I wake up is I clean. And I hate cleaning, but why I do that is because it's really just a mindless, effortless thing that I can do as I wake up. And so at 8:30 when I jump over on my YouTube, I'm going to just stream what my list is, what my checklist is. And it's not perfect, but at least it's a checklist. And what helps me is when I'm really stuck in a rut, I even made these popsicle sticks, right? And I have weekly chores, daily chores. And literally just having this tangible thing. Actually, my mom just jumped on the Facebook Live and she can appreciate, she used to make these sheets that we have as children, and literally that physical, tactical point of picking up the popsicle stick and moving it to done helps to get out of that rut, right? So I put all those tasks, everything that goes onto the list, and then as I move it, I don't actually do that every day. This is really when I'm stuck in a rut, as I mentioned. So being able to clean first and kind of get some of those chores, such as unloading the dishwasher, you know, they say make your bed, and it's for a reason, because it's something that can just start the day, and it's simple and it's mindless. So unpacking the dishwasher, you know, cleaning the microwave, or doing something mindless. I'm not saying doing a deep clean or doing all of the chores all at once, but just until kind of my mind gets going. And then I feel good that some of my tasks, some of my chores are done first thing in the morning. So let me know if you're jumping on, because I'm not getting notifications like I normally do. They actually switch the Facebook Live around a little bit. So I'm going through things that help me to work from home. The next thing is I really don't follow a routine. I follow priorities. And that is just how I'm wired. And so some people wake up every day at the same time and they do a certain task every single day at the same time over and over again. And they have a very regiment routine. If you want help with this, or if this is kind of how you're set up, Amy Landino has an amazing YouTube channel all about that, all about morning routine, all about waking up and doing the same things at the same time. And that's just not me. That's something that I emphasize, that it just doesn't work for me. It's never really been something that following a set routine, either in the morning or at night, works. But for me, having priorities. So rather than having a routine that is set by the clock, I have a routine that's set by priorities. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mom. My mom's giving me compliments. Love your hair. I need to do those sticks because, oh.
Maybe you just want to shout.
Yes, Mom. My mom's on Facebook. And really, it goes back to what she did with us, is when we had just, I actually had a dog and he had little bones, and I had to put his doggy bones in from the to-do into the done doggy bone. And that just helped me, right? And so as an adult, I just, again, when I'm stuck in a rut, like these. So they're easy to make, and just list out everything, and then separate into your daily, and then your weekly, and then your monthly. And then for me, because I work from home, I actually have chores separated by daily, weekly, and monthly. But then I also have my work daily, weekly, and monthly. So I'm going to go through some of that once I stream on YouTube as well. So I'm going to hop over there just in a few minutes, because as I map out how I do it electronically, so this is very like hands-on, right? But I also do it virtually. Okay, so the next thing is create a to-do list. But the to-do list, keep in mind, that is a wish list. And something that I've been told, this was actually one of my very first managers when I worked in corporate, helped me. And I remind myself of this, that a to-do list is meant to kind of guide you, but it's okay that not everything will get done on the to-do list. So treat the to-do list as the wish list and make your priority list the will-do list. And that means every day pick 3 things, 3 actionable things that can actually happen that you can stick to, because you will always, 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 always have a to-do list. The to-do list is never ending. The to-do list is your wish list, and then you can take from the to-do list and move it and prioritize. So like I mentioned just a few moments ago, rather than having a routine set by the clock, I have a routine set by priorities. Okay, what I do, and next thing is I always have, this is called the Rocketbook. Now you can use a piece of paper if you would like. I use Rocketbook, and I can share a little bit more what this is. It's so cool. I got one for my brother for his birthday. And it writes just like a notebook, but then there's these QR codes, and you can tell it where you want to scan and send and store this note or this information or this to-do list electronically. So for instance, I have it set up to my Google Drive or to my email. So I keep this everywhere I go around the house. And whenever something comes into my mind, like today, I was like, let me write down what I do, what works for me working from home. And throughout the day, I would just write it down, get it out of my head and onto paper throughout the day, always. Some people use sticky notes. The reason why I like Rocketbook is you get that feeling of writing on pen and paper, but you can erase it over and over again. And actually there's, where did I put it? There's a white, so it becomes kind of like a whiteboard where you can reuse these pages over and over again. So it's not just like a notebook or a Post-it note. It's one notebook that I use over and over and over again. There's different templates. There's a calendar template in the beginning. There's a to-do list. So there are different templates, and then I always keep this around. That way, when something comes to my head throughout the day, get it out of my mind and onto paper. That way I can keep doing whatever I'm doing and stay productive that way. Okay? Next thing that I do is celebrate those accomplishments, but acknowledge the things that still need to get done. So I'm always celebrating even the tiny little things. Like I mentioned, I'm not great when it comes to staying on a routine as far as this time I do this time I do that. But acknowledging and celebrating those things that are getting done deserve that credit, right? But then also acknowledging those defeats, acknowledging the things that aren't necessarily getting done so that you can push them to the priority list. When I have a list of things that need to happen, right? Or for instance, when I worked in weddings, I can relate it to that. Everything on the list must get done at some point, but it's a matter of prioritizing what needs to be focused on. And if you need to bump one out of your priority list so that you can move something else, that's okay. But you will always, always have that to-do list, like I mentioned. So celebrate those accomplishments, even if it's as simple as making the bed or as simple as getting through all the emails before 9 a.m., whatever it may be. Give yourself some credit, celebrate that, move on, but also acknowledge those areas that are defeating, right? And at that point, I delegate. So I have a VA, but I also use an internship program. It's called Acadium, and it's an amazing program. You can bring on a marketing intern, and it's very affordable. You can bring somebody on to delegate the things that otherwise don't get done. And what I've realized is there are certain things or certain skill sets that, yes, I could perfect them and I can work on those things. But for me, I've already acknowledged and I've already been able to separate what just doesn't get done. But there are people that are built that way. They're just wired that way. And so I use Acadium to bring on marketing interns, for instance, writing. I'd much rather just get on a Facebook Live or do a video or show people. In a few minutes, I'm going to jump on my YouTube just to share my screen as I build out the month of April. But there are things like writing out content that I don't enjoy doing. I would much rather do a video and then hand that off, delegate that out to my interns who can rewatch the video and convert that into written content. Because if I were to sit here and make this a blog, it would take me a lot longer than building out the list and talking about it here on video and showing you how I do it. So again, celebrate those accomplishments, acknowledge those defeats, and determine how you're going to actually delegate or cross it off. If it's not making it onto your own priority list, is it really a priority? Ask yourself, does this need to get done? Does it need to get done now? And who needs to get it done? Okay? And the next thing, I continue to learn. I love watching webinars or other people's Facebook Lives, listening to Gary Vee, whatever it may be, but this can become very time consuming. It can become very noisy, and noisy as in there are a lot of people that talk some program that they took, they read a book, they took a webinar, and now they're teaching that one program, right? That they're just selling whatever it may be. They're just giving that information out. So when it comes to learning, if you're working from home and or if you're jumping on taking this time to learn from other people, is limit who you're listening to. Really kind of do that due diligence. But also in this world of information that we're in, narrow it down, cut out the noise. One, by who you're listening to, and two, just take one or two tactical ways that you can take from that segment and apply it. Just one or two. They may have, like this, 7 different things on their list, or different ways to optimize your events and different ways to optimize your business. And all of these webinars and online events are happening, and we're already in information overload. So when it comes to taking that time, delegate time for your learning, delegate that time, but narrow down who you're listening to. So when I'm jumping on webinars or different virtual events, I'm making sure that this person is credible or that the event is credible, that I actually want to listen, that it's their own information. But then I only take 1 or 2 tactical things. This is how I use my mindset and entrepreneurship, right? This is how I actually structure my own group as well. Is there's so much information, and I give a lot of that information. We're starting our next launch April 6th, which is Monday, and I tell them, take the information, but it's a matter of taking the how-to and the what-to and actually transforming it into will-do and want-to. And to do that, we just take 1 or 2 tactical things that we can apply right now that go on the priority list. So I'm going to recap that, okay? 7 things that help me stay focused and work from home. This is just 7 out of probably a dozen or more different things that I could think of just today as I was building this out. So number one is music. I wake up with music. For you, that might be a podcast. For you, that might be reading a book. That might be something just as soon as I wake up, I need to have music in my life. I put it on the speakers once I wake up. And then throughout the day, or if I'm working, I actually put headphones in to actually concentrate. I personally listen to a few different playlists. I made one for my wake up. Mindset and Entrepreneurship is on Spotify, and I've been sharing that. And then as far as while I work, I listen to Nuttin' But Strings is probably one of my favorite Pandora stations right now. It's all instrumental and it's upbeat, yet helps me focus. So music is number one. Two, I clean and just do something active very first thing as soon as I get out of bed. I'm not saying deep clean the house. I'm saying something as simple as unloading the dishwasher, or doing the dishes, or wiping down the counters, or just doing the bathrooms. That is it. Just one task that I separate every day. That, again, it helps, one, keep up on all of the chores, but two, is mindless in a sense that I can just get my day going. Number three is that rather than setting a routine to the clock, set a routine towards your priorities. Number four, creating your to-do list, which is a wish list, and then choosing only 3 or 4 things that deserve to be on that priority list for the day, okay? So to-do list, priority list. And I actually have a to-do priority list for the week, for the day, and for the month. Next thing to recap is always have something that I can write down throughout the day. I use Rocketbook. I explained a little bit why I like Rocketbook, but if that means a pad of paper or whatever, so if something comes to mind, write it down rather than derailing what you're already working on. So write it down so you can come back to it. It's out of your brain, on the paper, keep moving along. The next thing, as a recap, celebrate those accomplishments, but acknowledge the defeats. That way you can actually manage and determine how to best move forward with those defeats. If it's not happening on your own priority list, ask yourself who needs to be doing it, how can I get it done, and can it be delegated? And then the last thing is, as you are taking this time at home, I continue to learn, whether it's through webinars or reading or whatever it may be, but to limit the noise. Limit the noise as you're learning. That way you can actually move that learning from how to and what to into transformational, into the will do and want to. Okay, so those are 7 different things that work for me. Again, I don't know who's popping on and saying hello, but what I'm going to do now is jump over to my YouTube. And how you can access that is, as I'm mapping out my month of April, what I'm going to do is show you inside my project management how I set up my month, how I set up my week, what's exactly on my to-do list. So if you go to marketingandevents.com, there is a tab. I wish I could share my screen. I wonder if I can. Ooh, check this out, you guys. Wait a minute. Wait just 1 minute. I might be able to show you. Let's see.
Still blood up, dude.
Haha. Okay. Ooh, wait a minute. Ooh, that's not good. Hold on.
Yeah, I was watching it. I was like, I need to go.
Let's see. Share screen. That is so cool. Okay. Instagram, sorry you guys, you can't see it. But if you go to marketingandevents.com, you'll see I'm live now. Go ahead and click that for anybody that is watching or wants to watch. I'm probably going to be streaming for a good hour or so as I work out my month of April. So feel free to hop over on YouTube. It's just a little easier as I share my screen. I didn't realize that Facebook Live could do this. I'm not even sure if you're able to see this. So anyway, go jump over on marketingandevents.com. Go ahead and click the YouTube I'm live now. The reason why I do it over there is a few different reasons. It's just easier to share my screen as I'm working through this. And I use YouTube really as a central location for people that are not necessarily on Facebook. So there we have it. I'm going to write this out as well. Let me know what's working for you. What have you been doing to work from home, keeps you on track? I'm curious, but I am going to start working, and more than welcome to jump over and say hello and take a look at exactly how I map out my month, what's on my to-do list, if you're needing a little more direction. So anyway, thanks for joining, and I may be doing another one of these throughout the week, and hop over on YouTube. I will see you over there.